Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Cooking with Chef Daba. Today, I'm gonna take you on a trip to the north of India, and if there is any dish that really speaks North India, it's the chicken tikka kebab. Now you can go to Indian restaurants pretty much anywhere in the world, especially the North Indian restaurants. It's hard to find a menu without chicken tikka. It is probably one of the most popular kebabs that comes out of India, and rightly so, because it is absolutely delicious and relatively simple to make. So today we're gonna learn the history and how to make the chicken tikka kebab. Without any further ado, my friends, let's cook! So let's talk a little bit about the kebab. The origins of the kebab go to Persia, and it is believed that this was fast food way back then. The tradition was to cook whole cuts of meat, and it would take a lot of time and a lot of fuel to do so. But soldiers in the field didn't have that kind of time or luxury, so they would skewer small bits of meat onto the edge of their sword and cook it over a fire. Now, more surface ratio, so the kebabs would cook faster. So it was fast food back then. Today, it's a real delicacy for us. We don't have swords, so what we have to use is a skewer. Now, if you don't have metal skewers, you could also use bamboo skewers, and they work really well. You just have to make sure that you soak the skewers in water, otherwise they'll just catch fire when they're in the oven. Now let's talk ingredients, and the first thing we're gonna need is chicken. And I use chicken breast for this kebab. Chicken breast is leaner, it cooks faster, and it's perfect for this kind of application. So let's get started with cooking. We start by washing the chicken breast thoroughly and then drying it on a paper towel. It is really essential to get rid of all the moisture from the chicken when making kebabs. We pat it dry, and now it's time to cut it. We want to cut against the grain to ensure we get a really nice tender morsel of chicken. Now let's talk marinade. The most important part of a good kebab is a nice long marinade. You want the food to soak in this marinade and absorb all the flavors. Traditionally, to make chicken tikka, you have two marinades. The first one is really simple. It's just basically salt, red chili powder, a good squeeze of lime. That's it. We just mix all the ingredients well together, making sure each piece is thoroughly coated. Then we cover with plastic wrap and leave it aside for about half an hour for the flavors to all come together. Now let's talk about the second marinade. Most recipes call for the use of powders like coriander powder and cumin powder and garam masala powder, but I like to go a little more authentic. Rather than using these powders, I like taking the whole seeds, roasting them, bringing out its flavor, and grinding them all together. Let's begin the spice rub. In our favorite cast iron pan, we are going to gather coriander seeds, cumin seeds, fennel seeds, cloves, cinnamon, cardamom, and black peppercorns. We take these spices to the flame and give it a very slow roast on slow flame. You want to just lightly toast it to bring out the flavors of the spices. When the spices are cool, we take it to our spice grinder and grind it to a fine powder. This recipe also calls for ginger, garlic, and chili paste. I like grinding it myself, but you could also use a store-bought variety. If doing it yourself, just make sure you grind the ingredients to a really smooth paste. The next thing we work on is the yogurt. I like to put the yogurt in a muslin cloth over a strainer to let the moisture drip away, and this makes the yogurt really thick and creamy. The one thing that I have now started adding in my kebabs is besan, also known as chickpea flour. Besan just by itself has got this raw flavor which I don't really like. So what I do is I fry the besan using a little bit of ghee in my cast iron pan, yes, you guessed it. And what I actually do is sort of turn it into something like a roux. You cook it down till it changes color and becomes nice and toasty, and it imparts this wonderful nutty flavor to the kebabs, and at the same time it does a great job of holding all the marinade ingredients together, adhering to the chicken, and that just makes it fantastic. And it's time to put the second marinade together. We start with the toasted besan, the thick and creamy yogurt, a little bit of that garam masala powder we just freshly ground, and the ginger garlic and chili paste. A good squeeze of lime, mix it all together. And oops, I almost forgot. We need to add in a little bit of kasuri methi. It just brings out the edge in these kebabs. Alright, give it a good mix and add the chicken that has been marinating in the first marinade. Give it a good toss, combine, making sure all the pieces are thoroughly coated. Cover with plastic wrap and let it marinate for about 8 to 24 hours. And now we're ready to skewer. Now when skewering your kebabs, if you are right-handed, then you're better off skewering with your left hand. You take a piece of kebab, kind of pinch it into half, and just run the skewer right through. It's gonna be a messy job. Hey, but when was the last time you had so much fun? At the sandbox, right? So sometimes it's real fun to get messy, really. And there you go. It's ready for the oven. Now we're gonna cook this in our oven and we're gonna use the broiler mode. The highest setting possible is what you're gonna need to cook your kebabs. Most chicken tikka kebabs in Indian restaurants are cooked in tandoors, and those tandoors can reach up to 800 Fahrenheit. Now, you and me, we don't have access to a tandoor, but we do want to have that high heat, so the maximum heat possible. And that's what's going to be our broiler. Making sure the rack is at the highest point in the oven, we put the kebabs in the oven and allow it to cook. Leave the door open because we don't want the thermostat to basically turn the oven off. Now, I'd like to toast some kasuri methi, turn it into a fine powder. This is what I'm going to need to finish the kebabs. Crumble it. There you go. 8 minutes up. Let's check the kebabs. Looks fantastic. Nice and brown. Flip it around. Back in the oven for about another 8 minutes. Then we gather some desi ghee, some chunky chaat masala, and a large bowl. Let's check on the kebabs about 8 minutes later. Looks like it's done. Are these amazing or what? Man, I just can't wait to sink my teeth into one of these babies. Now when it comes to having to take them off the skewer, what you're going to need is a little paper towel that you make into a little square. And just kind of grab the end and just allow it to... Boom. Simple. It's done. And now we're ready to give it the finishing touches. I'm gonna add a sprinkling of that kasuri methi, which I roasted and made into a little powder, some chaat masala, and a little hit of ghee just to bring it all together and give it that nice sheen, great coating, and wonderful flavor. Because you know what? You can never go wrong with ghee. Mix the kebabs well and give it a good hit of lime to bring the flavors together. You take the kebabs and you give it a nice little toss. And I believe it's time to plate up. Put the kebabs on your favorite platter. On the side, I like to serve it with a few wedges of lime. Cilantro, just to give it a little hit of color, and some mint raita dipping sauce. Perfect combination for this dish. It's time to eat. There you have it. Delicious, simple, succulent chicken tikka kebab. You could not find a better kebab in the restaurant. I'll tell you that right now. You're gonna try it because this is probably one of the best kebabs you're ever gonna taste. My guarantee. This is Chef Dama signing out, wishing one and all happy eating.